Hey everybody, this is Dan from PlayStation Access. I'm here with Roberto Marchesi, who is art director on Hitman Absolution. We're going to talk through the first level of Hitman, and he's going to tell me what I did wrong in my playthrough.
Well, if you got to your target, you probably didn't do anything wrong. But one of the biggest changes you can see already here is you have a checkpoint that you just activated. And this is a feature that lets you save the progress so far, and should you die, you will restart from this point on a level, which can make them a bit more forgiving, but at the same time it will allow you to explore a bit more and be a bit more bold in the choices you make during the level, during the playthrough. And
so yeah, I could have hidden the body at that point, but yes. I chose not to. Do you think maybe I should have done that?
Hiding bodies is really good, both in games and in real life. You want to get away with murder, right?
For sure.
And you don't know if a guard should come by. That's the problem. When you take someone out in Absolution, there's always a chance that someone will stumble upon the body, and that will affect their rating. Your rating, but also the NPCs that discovers the body will get suspicious and maybe call for alarm and get more guards. And
I went for the good old Book of Death there.
Yeah, you're going at it, I can see. And I mean, you picked up a brick, and all the objects in Absolution can be used as improvised weapons. Some of them are definitely more apt to being used as blunt objects or weapons, like the brick, but some of them are definitely more on the curious side, but fundamentally anything can kill. What happened there with the flash on screen is that someone has probably discovered one of your bodies, and you can see the guard that was running there. He's running towards the body. So if you have hidden him, see, now you get also the body found prompt.
I quickly run away at this point.
But that's that's fine. No one has seen you do anything yet.
Yeah.
They are suspicious, they are alerted, they are going to be looking for someone because they know there's someone on the grounds. And they will probably find the other body that you left early on the level, which is going to escalate them even more.
Yeah.
But now you moved on to the next checkpoint. And here you see for the first time we're introducing instinct in its uses, instinct trails that shows a predicted path that Agent 47 can figure out, okay, this guy's probably going to go somewhere here.
Okay. And so that path that the guy was going down, is that always definitely the way that he's going to go, or is there any...
There's no deviation to death or the ending point as such. You can turn this off, this feature, if you want to, together with the glowing bodies. This is one of the things that we introduced in Absolution, is the instinct feature, and it fundamentally replaces the old minimap. But on top of that, it also has another layer of information, like predicted path or tools you can interact with.
Yeah, okay. So I think I ended up shooting this guy, but again, I probably could have just walked around him, couldn't I?
You did that. You did it. You chose not to clean house.
I'm learning.
You're learning. Well, that's also the mark of the Hitman series. The fact that you can complete levels in many different ways, and you can do it without killing anyone but your target, which makes the entire experience much more challenging. It can be also very tense knowing that you have left lots of bodies behind, not bodies, but live people behind you that can fundamentally discover you.
And that was a good show-off of the instinct mode there, where I suppose if I hadn't have used instinct mode and I'd walked past that other gardener, he would have instantly...
He would have spotted you because you're getting too close to him. And this is also one of the fundamental differences between Blood Money and Absolution. That's regarding the disguise rules. In the old Blood Money, when you picked up the gardener disguise, all the gardeners would have assumed you were their friend.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite that we do here in Absolution. But from a logical point of view, it just makes sense because, you can fool them for us, or you could fool someone that is wearing a gardener disguise, but at the same time, after a while they can see through it, they will get suspicious of you.
Sure.
And that's also why we introduced the blend-in features, to try to balance it and make you take more bold approaches.
And this bit, this is fantastic. We've been laughing really hard in the office at this.
The prostate guy he's a great fun. Everyone laughs at the prostate guy. It's but this I think it's a good example of humor in a Hitman game. It's we know we're making a game. We the theme, the profession of being an assassin is very serious, and but at the same time, Agent 47, he visits many different locations and encounters very different characters in his. I'm gonna call them adventure now because I lack of a better word, and they let us showcase very different worlds and people, and humor is also one of the things that can come out once in a while in this world, and because we get away with it because the world is so varied to begin with.
So that bit, I could have used the coffee cup to throw it and distract the guard.
Yes, you could.
I thought it was much better to kill him. That was my style.
That's a good style. It is. It's.
Is that the style you'd go for?
Depends. It really depends. It depends on the mood of the day, and what I feel like, because playing very professionally, not getting discovered, and sneakingly is really fun. But at the same time, I wouldn't call it an acquired taste, but it does require at least a form of patience, and that's not something that everyone has every day. It's really nice when you pull it off, but at the same time, sometimes you just want to do headshots.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
As always, how you handle your assignment is entirely up to you. Good luck.
Is it fair to say that you can play in a variety of ways, more so than in other Hitman games before? I mean, in other Hitman games.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, fundamentally, all the previous games could have been also played in a varied of ways. But what we really tried to achieve in this game was keeping the variety, but at the same time give you many more tools to achieve the same variety. Not getting discovered here is very much possible, but you can do it by either distracting guards or not being seen, or making accidents that happen during a playthrough. It's and if you want to start going on a more aggressive way, we really wanted to tweak all the mechanics that are around that type of playstyle. Make sure that the guns have the right sounds and feel to them when you fire them, that going into cover feels responsive and you're not hampered by the controls. Taking aim feels natural, and the alternate aim is generous enough to feel like you're empowered, but at the same time not too forgiving. And if you really want to be precise, we try to introduce, for instance, the precision shot maneuver, which by lightly squeezing the trigger lets you place your shots even more precisely than the crosshair normally indicates. So all those features just make the game more deep and hopefully compelling and advanced. The playstyles are fundamentally still the same. You have the violent approaches, the more stealthy approaches, and anything in between, and that's always been a hallmark of the series. Here I can see you're trying to do the precision shot because you're, ooh, what's happening here? And you finally snapped him. Yes.
Yeah, what I liked about playing through the game was that you could play through very stealthy, for an hour through a level, try and do things really, really carefully, and then if you do kind of mess up and you get spotted, then that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the game. You don't just get shot down within 5 seconds and have to redo the level.
No.
It's good because you can kind of finish the level, and then you can choose to go back and do it again and do it in a perfect stealthy way.
And again, a containment of situation is really important for us in this case, because we wanted to make sure that should you fail in your stealthy approach, you would still be able to contain the situation and keep on playing from the same spot, instead of like in the old games where everyone would be alerted at the same time. But at the same time, saying that you can approach this level as a straight shooter.
Yeah.
You can take the very beginning of the level and just starting shooting your way through it, and swapping weapon, rolling from cover to cover, and it's still it very much works that way. The guards will call for backup, will make it more difficult, and here you're also using one of the sleeping pills to take out the chef. I mean, you really want, what you're doing here is you want to take his clothes And
Okay.
I mean, and you could either kill him and take the clothes, but now you can also just make him sleep and take the clothes. So you won't have his death on your conscience, and that'll probably improve your
So
rating. You're showing compassion here.
If he drinks his soup and takes the sleeping tablets, am I not killing him? Is he just being knocked out?
He's being knocked out,
Okay,
yes,
so you
yes.
give him a small dose.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. If I had gone up and tried to fight him, would he have fought back much, or being
No,
a chef,
there's
is he just gonna kind of...
like you're mentioning about the close combat.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make a difference between he tasted the soup and he's getting dizzy and he's probably gonna go down and sit and have a small nap. But if you had gone up and taken him for a fight, you would have knocked him out much faster than a normal guard, because he's a civilian, and we try to make a very strong distinction between how civilians and guards communicate and react and even shoot at you. And now I can see he's completely dozed off. So now you can fundamentally take his clothes and drag him around. Yes. And this guy here is really good to move around on the lower levels of this mansion, because you are the only chef. So it's a bit of a joker. It makes the level a bit easier for some people, but still you have to get the key card, which if you just walk up here in the middle of the room and shoot this guy and get his key card, is still not gonna make for a very compelling playthrough. But I can see you're still going with the
I wanted to take out this this agent here.
Yes.
And I think he kind of notices at one point that I'm a newbie, that I'm not the same chef that that he recognizes. So is it possible to get discovered by this agent? If I get too close to him, is he gonna rumble my operation?
No, he won't. Fundamentally, as the disguise rules work, and he will not be able to see through, because.
Okay.
But he takes his job very seriously.
So I figured that it would be a good idea to get his clothes. So I drugged him. I'm now going to follow him menacingly and wait for him to get knocked out. Did you do mocap for all of the characters in the game?
All the characters, yes, they've been mocapped from start to finish. We have usually when we mocap people, we tend to use animators on the first draft, and it's amazing how much you can tell from a person's movement who they are, because at a later stage we had some very nice girls doing some lap dances, and you could easily tell the persons that were doing the lap dances were not girls to begin with. They were mocap, but they were actually male animators.
Yeah.
There's something about it that just doesn't ring through. So we ended up resorting to actually a professional dancer that a friend of ours knew, and that makes a whole difference. But that's just like scalable to all the classes. You can really tell that a person's animation have a huge impact on the identity of the character and how we perceive them, and that's also why it's so important that the animations surrounding Agent 47 are so trimmed and carefully chosen, because they convey a lot of information about what kind of character he is.
I believe she was an award-winning lap dancer.
She was actually a national champion in Denmark, so which speaks good for the country, I guess.
You don't do it by half. You get the proper lap dancers, and that's good.
You can tell the difference.
Yeah. So then, at this point, I was a little bit confused. I thought that I'd put a body in there, but I hadn't.
Yes, you had no. But you still you can use body containers in the world as both disposal units to hide bodies away, and that's up to maximum 2.
Yeah.
Or you can hide yourself in them, which is also something that can come in handy if you're trying to defuse a situation. You can try to backtrack or get away from the guard's attention and try to hide. If they're not too alerted and if they haven't seen you go in, they will probably stand down. They will not stand down to the same degree of laziness or like casualness as in the beginning of the playthrough, but there will be a definite improvement in their level of, or not improvement, step down in their awareness.
So then, I've got my the disguise that I was looking for, and I'm heading through to take out my target.
Yeah, in a Burnwood.
Yeah. Now this target. Now that was it must have been a big decision to
Yes.
include this in the story to take
That-
her out.
That is definitely one of the main pillars of the story, and it's for the people that have been following the franchise. They know what this means. This is taking out the only link to the human world that Agent 47 has had so far in the previous games. But this is what allows us to actually showcase Agent 47's more personal side for the first time, and now he is he has a crossroads, moral crossroads, and he has to take on his own decisions from this point on. Exactly this point on, he's on his own.
Yeah. Okay. Is this all in game?
This is all in game. This is all in-game characters. There's we have over 90 minutes of cutscenes in the game, and some of them are done in pre-rendered, some of them are done with in-game characters. And what you're seeing right now here, this is the in-game actually assets and characters.
Did you work on the Glacier 2 engine yourself?
No, not as a programmer, no.
Okay.
No.
It must be a pretty good engine to work with, though.
It's incredibly flexible. It's a real-time engine, which makes a huge difference in how the level designers actually built the levels. Because in the previous games, we made the levels from a pen and paper point of view. We trying to draw a blueprint, figure out where to put guards and how they patterns on where they're walking, and where you wanted to excellence. And then you built it, and then you saw if it worked or not. While being a real-time engine, Glacier 2 allows us to start out with much more crude gray block areas and mock stuff up really fast from Agent 47's point of view straight away. And when the level designers place a guard on the level, they can see straight away if it's too far, too close, too slow and moving straight left and right, whatever it is it's supposed to be doing. And this has a huge impact on actually how they develop the levels, and it's been hopefully for the better.
So I think this is the last section that I played through. So this introduces the what's this mode called?
This is the point shooting, which is what you're going to showcase now is point shooting, which is an ability that Agent 47 has to take down multiple opponents on a very short time. What you're going to see here is that you have to use instinct, and you have to place tags in the world. Every tag you place burns some of your instinct. So you cannot just abuse this feature, and just by being in this mode burns additional instinct. Yeah. This is how we try to balance this feature, because at first sight it can be extremely overpowered. But we figure also out that if there's someone that can go into a room and take down several people with well-precise shots, that is Agent 47, the world's most deadliest assassin. If we do that, we are lucky if we hit the wall. But he can actually pull this off. We want to give the tools to the players to actually do this, and we do that by introducing punch shooting. At the same time, we also try to balance it in a way that you cannot just use it all the time, because that wouldn't be fun either.
It's a very cool thing to do, isn't it? Just mark them all up and take out 4 people all at once.
It feels good. For instance, in the playthrough we showed you guys this morning, whatever. Travis tried to do it when on the floor of the Terminus Hotel, but he didn't have enough instinct, so he only managed to pull a couple of shots before he ran out and had to go back into the real-time game mode. So it's very much, I think it's a good example of how you cannot just use it all the time and just hammer everything.
Okay.
And here we see Victoria, which is also another of the key characters of the game, and she is the person that the storyline-wise that game revolves around. And everything that Agent 47 does from now on revolves around finding the truth about Victoria and why Diana was willing to die for her.
Well, that's the end of the playthrough that I did. Can you tell us when Hitman's available on PS3?
On November the 20th, Hitman Absolution will be available for PS3.
Okay, thanks very much for talking to us.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.